morning. This is Grateful Ed. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It is a great day to be alive. I thank God I'm alive and able to make a video for you today. I want to say hello to everybody and to send my love to everyone. And I want to say a big thank you, to the people who have given me the benefit of the doubt when it comes to being able to speak my mind and speak my point of view. It's very important, it's important for me to recognize them. I wouldn't be here today without them. So, I thank you for that. And also for the people who have, realized the situation that we're in, when it comes to not only our country, but the world, and is able to stand up and speak their voice and do what they can in order to move the ball forward as far as protecting our country and protecting our democracy. So, the first thing I wanted to say today is, who sped up the clock? Because it seems as though time is passing by so fast that never in my life has it gone by so fast. And that's the thing, I know other people have to recognize that too. Time never went this fast, when you're at work, when you're on your 9-to-5 job. But things are moving by at a quick pace there. There was a report. There was a report on the news that there was a Chinese police station or a Chinese-ran police station in New York City. And, that reminded me of a story that's somewhat similar, but not exactly the same. It just shows, how a lot of money can buy influence when it comes to the protection that's afforded to some people. Okay, so when there was an influx of Korean immigrants, if you will, that moved to the Philippines. Okay, and they basically they bought up all the property out on Friendship. Okay, out by Friendship Gate, old Friendship Gate. The people who know, they know. For other people, it's just the first gate you come to coming off the base at Clark when it was open. But anyway, those are it was prime real estate, of course, but they bought up all the clubs and not only clubs, just everything that was out there, all the businesses, okay, and put in their businesses, whatever that may be. And I don't know, there's a lot of Korean restaurants and shops and hotels, whatever. Okay. But the thing about it is they wanted to buy and have their own police station right there. And I don't think Koreans were manning it. Basically, I think they were using their wealth and their influence in order to have their own police protection right there in their quadrant of the city. So, it just goes to show that, and they would have a lot of influence on the decisions that were made, okay? And there's no doubt about that when it comes to buying up the justice, if you will. So, hearing that story, that reminded me of that and how the money can buy the political influence on them. So I've been talking a lot, about the classified leak and, the Air Force connection in that. And, also the overall ramifications of the risk it puts our country and the risk it puts our soldiers and also government workers that are, doing dirty work and doing good work, doing the work that they're assigned to do. But anyway, there's something up. There was something up with me about how the FBI had to go in and almost like a SWAT arrest, and then have a spectacle on TV about that for a two-strike. And the other thing is, if you look at it now, there are reports that he is some kind of racist and also a pro-gun advocate, whatever. So um, I heard MTG talk about this, okay, yesterday, and I talked about it a little bit. I took a look at it, and it is on the internet today. So, as usual, when these stories hit, um, it's good not to have the knee jerk reaction on it, like, oh, there this goes again, or here this goes again. When it comes to the classified material, there's a lot more going on from what they've reported in the news and to really what's going on. So, and then I heard last week about take a look at this with a grain of salt because it could be a setup. It could be a setup to where they want to pin the blame on someone else. That's very well known in these circles. Either way, if you take a look at classified and how it's been in the news, you got classified found at Biden's garage, Biden's house, I guess. Also, Mike Pence, his house. When it comes to President Trump, and he had a valid use for that, I guess for the archives, for his records and that. Uh, he had it cleared. He's by the law. Again, there's the FBI coming in with a big spectacle and a big raid on the compound, Mar-a-Lago. So, there was something very, very, very wrong with how that's being administered. If you don't want to tell somebody something, you can classify it, okay, and then have it as a national secret. When in fact, there's something going on behind the scene. My point is, with President Trump, it was way out of line. With Aaron Teixeira, it followed the same MO, if you will, that we got to have a big FBI raid. Like this is how can I say it, a dangerous person. Now we find out, this leak about racism and pro-guns or whatever. So, we'll see what happens. But something's just not right there. Okay, Biden. I took a look. Biden came in as a senator in 1972. Okay. And the Clarence Thomas hearings were about 20 years later, 1991. Okay. And, thing about it, I remember watching this on TV and then, forming a judgment, what's going on. I didn't know if he did it or not, but in order to have that on TV and have such a big issue was, we'd never seen that before. I'd never seen anything like that, and they were bringing sexual harassment to the forefront. But here's the thing, now that I take a look at it and they're trying, I want to relate that to what I talked about earlier when it comes to why are they pointing out Clarence Thomas now? Okay. And the thing about it, Biden had been around for 20 years already. Okay. More or less 20 years. So, you get a reputation about how you are and how you do your administration. Now, in the 70s, 60s, 50s, we didn't have all the access, to all the information that we have right now. So it's very important, to understand. I believe, and this is purely my opinion, you can make your own judgments and do your own research. But by that time, Clarence Thomas, he already knew what Biden was about, and that Biden was in there to smear his name and, another setup, okay? So he maintained his innocence during that time, and, he held himself with dignity and, respect. And finally, the Senate overrode that show, for what it was. So now, Judge Thomas is back in the news about these trips, trying to scandalize him. When again, he's trying, from what I understand, he was trying to do the right thing by checking with the legal folks or the people, that would have a say so about what would be a conflict of interest or not. So, here we go again, with Biden and, set up in the smear. So, okay, I got to talk about President Trump for just a minute. Okay. Our country, whether you like it or not, I mean, it's a hard reality for a lot of people, and a lot of people will not ever, come to the realization that this is the truth. But our country was a hell of a lot better off under President Trump and his leadership. Okay. If we're not in it, we're on the brink of World War III. Okay. Uh, just by everything that's going on, we're getting hit with the kitchen sink on disasters every day, everywhere. Okay. Look at the bank failures, okay, the banking system, and we've known about the failures, but I think there's a lot more to that. And also what I call the weather warfare, creating havoc, lots of tornadoes, lots of typhoons or hurricanes in different places. Okay, destruction of property, destruction of lives. You lose the lives, and you lose your livelihood. People in distress because of it. The other thing was the border crisis. Okay, President Trump fought hard. He fought hard to get that border under control, and we were making progress like never before. He got things done, which I said he couldn't do, but now it makes sense when he had to reallocate funds from, I guess, the defense budget over to try and build that wall. Because really, and it is the truth that it's a matter of national security. Okay. So, the other thing is the chemical warfare. Okay. We see it more and more with these explosions, train derailment, this plastic factory that caught on fire over in Richmond, Indiana. And I gotta, every time I think about these things, I think about the destruction of just everyday people. Okay, and the reaction to the government about taking care of those folks. We've got so many resources in our country. Okay, we come to the aid of foreign countries and people in distress, but when it comes to East Palestine, Ohio, here you go. Okay, that's not Biden country, so we're just going to go in there and give a little press conference and la-di-da our way out. No, those people are standing up and showing what this is about, because in my opinion, that's just part of the industrial complex with whether you call it negligence or whether you call it intended consequences for this time. For me, it looks like chemical attacks. So, I mean, it's just all part of the warfare, the information warfare, the terrorism, the breakdown of the family, the breakdown of the police, all these things that make our country great. Okay, they want to whittle those down. We're coming to that culmination point where it's up to the citizens, okay, to stand up for our rights. Okay, that's the only way it can be done. President Trump has shown us that and motivated many, many people to realize that it's this time, and that they're not after him. They are after him, but not just him. They're after us. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say was, Biden's focus on Ukraine. And I didn't know that we had military people over there. Okay, so that's an unintended consequence, if you will, about these classified document leak. But I will say this, his focus on Ukraine is while China and Russia are making major moves, on the international geopolitical stage. Okay, Biden's over in Ireland, I don't know what he's doing, family history and all this good shit. But either way, he's missing in action when it comes to being a commander-in-chief and being a leader, for the people. That's why we need President Trump back. The other thing I wanted to say, again, North Korea, they've always been saber-rattling. And President Trump was the only president to go visit, and he walked right across the line there. Trust me, I would never walk across that line, you know. I've been there once, you know. I had the opportunity, but, you know, he did. So that just shows it's night and day, okay? When it comes to leadership, it's night and day. So I want to close about this setup, you know, with the uh, the New York City, the Attorney Bragg, okay, the prosecutor. He he ran on the platform that he wanted to take President Trump down. Okay, the federal prosecutors would not prosecute this case because they know it was not. I guess they're trying to get him on the campaign finances. You know, using the funds for things that they weren't supposed to be used for. I guess, and they know it won't fly. Okay. And the judge, he's already made opinions about this, you know. Uh, the judge's daughter, clearly a political supporter of the Democratic Party and the vice president. So, you know, when it comes to these issues, it's clear, and it's clear in a lot of people's minds during this campaign year, or I'll say run up to the presidential campaign. They're using this as a political witch hunt. Again, you know, they will not stop until we stop them. Okay, they spied on President Trump's campaign, even before he got elected. Okay, there they were in on that. They spied on the campaign once he got elected. I will say this too, you know, he didn't waste any time. He was at work the first day because he knew they were after him, and they would use every tactic they could to try to slow him down or hinder him. So they spied on the campaign, the Russian hoax, okay, Steele dossier, Uranium One, all these things. He knows these things were going on, and he has to expose it for the American people in a way where we can digest it and also work it through the legal system so, you know, there can be real justice this time. And that takes not only his leadership, but it takes our participation too, however you see fit. I think that's really, really important point to make. And then what do you call that? The presidential. I had a brain fart. The presidential impeachment. Okay, impeachment. Impeachment tries, I will say, because by Adam Schiff, because they really weren't impeachments. They were impeachment attempts. Okay. And, you know, all these things, they've been after Trump for so long, so long. But it's my thought, okay, that President Trump, he comes from the Democratic Party in New York. He knows their tactics and he knows their ways, okay. So when he broke away from that, he's a big risk and a big liability to them, okay. And he's weathered the storm, okay. He's weathered the storm. He's going to use this. He's going to come out on top. He will be victorious when it comes to the lawsuit. And, you know, whenever you try to attack Trump, he collects more money, gets more momentum in the polls, okay? So he's going to turn this around on the Democrats and really show them for what they are, okay? It's just going to be another tactic he's going to use to expose their ass. And rightfully so, I will say. So, thank you very much. Have a great day. God bless you. God bless America. And keep on keeping on.